Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So this is going to be the video for Springboard 4.3, and also congratulations for actually clicking on the video. Maybe you can leave me a comment or something and I'll give you some house points for that, because most people haven't. It's pretty obvious. So your grade's going to appreciate watching the videos, and then you will, even without your grade, you'll just appreciate keeping up with this stuff when you start next year and you're just able to go through everything a lot easier. It sounds like we're still doing all pre-AP classes next year. So it's gonna be more difficult, probably especially in ELA and math. So really try to keep up and keep doing your best for the last month of school, and it's also May. Anywho, I'm going to do something a little different this week. I keep making you create slides and presentations and videos and stuff. So this week it's going to be 2 questions. So you can see each other's answers. You can edit your response later. But all I'm having you do is type out answers. There's no videos. There's no presentations or Google Slides or anything like that. So you're just going to type in some responses, and I'll flip the camera over and start showing you 4.3 and your assignments. So this is activity 4.3, analyzing a comedic monologue. All these activities are going to be about monologues because that will be your embedded assessment. And again, if you're on a desktop, you go to the table of contents. This is Unit 4. And I'll go over the learning targets real quick. I need to remember to add these to the post actually. So you're going to evaluate the ideas, structure, and use of language in a comedic monologue performance. So really you're looking, one of the most important things is going to be structure, like the way the monologue is created, and then the language that people use in a monologue. And then same verb, evaluate, so evaluating a monologue. And then you're going to be creating your own at the end, and the goal is to make it humorous. So you're trying to make it funny, a funny monologue. And that's the last learning target, is writing a comedic monologue. So they're all related to each other. So again, I am skipping most of the lessons for Google Classroom, but I'll read the parts that I think are really important. So monologues, some people were asking me this week in Zoom already, like what is a monologue? Well, it's started from the oral tradition of telling and listening to stories. So basically, since the beginning of time, people have been telling stories of all kinds, stories and songs, and they've been passing down those stories over the generations. And basically, a monologue is just one person telling a story. So it's just one person talking for a pretty good length of time. That's really all it is. And this is the Springboard definition. A speech or written expression, it's just someone talking of thoughts by a character, and it's always the first person point of view. So like, I went to the store and did this. One time on summer vacation, I went to the swimming pool. So it's always first person point of view. And we're not going to do the quick write, but it's just helping to activate your prior knowledge there. And then it's talking about performances, which you've already started doing. So really, you're thinking about your physical and your vocal choices. So what are you doing with your hands and your arms and your facial expressions? And what are you doing with your voice, which also includes the tone? And again, using your voice, volume, rate, and inflection. That's going to be important when you present your monologues later, which isn't going to be this week. It'll be probably a couple of weeks from when you watch this. One thing I highlighted, and I would recommend you highlight this too if you can get onto Springboard, this is the structure, okay? This is how it's laid out for a monologue. Like if you have a graphic organizer and you have your introduction and your body paragraphs, this is how it goes for a monologue. A beginning, a middle, and an end. So it's really simple. But the beginning needs to hook the reader, because remember, you're thinking like you're in front of an audience, you're performing, you're trying to get their attention really, really quickly. And then the middle should be sequencing, like first, second, last, next. Think of those transition words we've been using all year long. You want to use those in your monologue too. And then the end should have some sort of conclusion. So you're wrapping up the story somehow. And it could even be like a really funny ending that people weren't expecting, but just some sort of conclusion. And that's really it. And then the other thing I was going to point out, since these are written to be performed, they have stage directions. So you could say like stage right, exit stage left. You could say, if you're shouting, if you're whispering, you could put in a comment for raising your fist. So you're putting in all sorts of stuff, like you're reading it to be performed. Like someone's going to read this as an actor and then perform it in front of an audience. And they're usually humorous or dramatic. So I'm showing you a video clip of one that is funny, something that's humorous. And all this word map stuff and these quick writes I'm skipping, but these quick writes could give you some ideas of what you will create your monologue over for your embedded assessment. You could definitely choose a topic from one of these quick writes. That's probably the easiest thing to do, actually. But it says your teacher's going to show you a video clip of a comedic performance, which I did find. And actually, I'm going to take this moment to switch over to Google Classroom and show you what I am posting. Okay, so like I was saying, you have part 1 and part 2. And these are your assignments for the week. So you could do this like Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday through Friday could be the second one. So part 1 is going to have the video clip. And I took these questions out of Springboard, and all you're doing is answering these questions. So you'll go to this, you'll type out your answers to the questions and submit it. That's all. You're not making a video, you're not making a presentation. And hopefully this works all right.
You know why we're here? To be out. This is out. And out is one of the single most enjoyable experiences of life. People talk about we should go out. This is what they're talking about. This whole thing, we're all out now. No one is home. Not one person here is home. We're all out. There are people trying to find us. They don't know where we are. Did you read? I can't find him. Where did he go? He didn't tell me where he was going. He must have gone out. You want to go out. You get ready. You pick out the clothes, right? You take the shower, get all ready, get the cash, get your friends the car, the spot, the reservation. And you stand around, what do? You go, we gotta be getting back. Once you're out, you want to get back. You want to go to sleep, you want to get up, you want to go out again tomorrow, right? Wherever you are in life, it's my feeling you've got to go.
Okay, so that was a really quick one, but your monologues don't have to be very long when you make them later. So the questions are, for this clip, so what makes the monologue comedic? So what makes this funny? Or how is he trying to make it funny? You don't have to think it's the funniest thing in the world, but just how does he try to make it funny? And then what are some details about the oral delivery and physical actions? So what gestures was he making and what was he doing with his voice? Because he definitely did some stuff. And then who do you think is the intended audience? That could include the age group. It could include people in a specific city or country or state. And then what do you think the purpose of the monologue is? Like, is it meant to entertain people? Is it meant to inform them about something in the news? Is it made to persuade them? So just basic things like that. And then here's your second assignment. This one's going to be to draft an original narrative monologue. So this I also got out of Springboard. And I think I'm actually going to go ahead and switch back over to the Springboard tab for this one. But this also, you can just type this out and answer the question. You do not need to attach anything. I did make this kind of a graphic organizer for you. If you're going to use this, I would copy and paste it, because if you make a copy of this and try to attach the link, I don't know if I'll be able to open it or not. So it's probably easier on this one if you just type this out or copy and paste if you really need to. But this is what I was showing you earlier in Springboard. There's a beginning where you hook the audience. There's a middle. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and add this right now, like some transitions. First, second, next. You need to see some words like that. And then you have some sort of conclusion in the end. And then you will be including movements like hand movements, body movements, facial expressions. Are you going to be smiling in the middle? Are you going to be frowning? And then voice inflections. Are you going to start whispering? Are you going to be shouting? Is one word going to be longer than another one? So just be as specific as you can, because you could totally use this later and then actually make your performance based off of this one that you're writing today. And I kind of got your questions from here, the intended audience and purpose, blah, 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 blah. That was included in the first Springboard assignment. And I'm skipping this whole thing with the language. It's good stuff, but I just don't know how I would possibly get to that right now. And then your second assignment is from this narrative writing prompt. So I just copied most of this stuff from here. It's saying to focus on a real or imagined holiday. So the holiday could include something like Christmas or Easter. A holiday could even be summer vacation, summer holiday. It's probably one of the easier topics for you to think of a monologue to create. So just be sure you are following that structure with a beginning, middle, and end. It's all in the correct order. And you want to try to make it as interesting as possible. And then you do want it to be funny. You want it to be humorous. So this, I mean, you probably shouldn't be doing a monologue about like you crying at a funeral or something. That's not going to be humorous. So you'll lose a couple of points if it isn't actually funny. And then the last thing was what I was talking about with your movements and your facial expressions and things like that. So one video to cover everything, and hopefully this gets posted well where it's not confusing this time around. Again, just type out your responses. For these, I wouldn't attach anything, just make it easy on you and me and answer the questions, and let me know if you're having any issues. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Or on Zoom. Zoom would be even better.